Hi Libra, welcome to your end of May 2017 General Tarot Forecast Update. I was trying to remember the sequence of those words. So in addition to my typical tarot spread with my Morgan Greer deck, I love the back of that. I bought it for the back. I keep talking about this, I joke about this because the first deck I had was, well, it wasn't this particular. This is the one this is the Rider-Waite deck, the regular one. I had the Radiant Tarot. Oh, let me see if I can pull up one of those puppies. I do have, I don't think I have every one, but you can see, this is a different card obviously, but you see, I don't know if that's a good example but see the back of this? I love the back of this. I can't stand plaid. It's like, who came up with that one? But this card isn't so bad, but some of the coloring and some of the cards are, to me, too bright. So I prefer the Rider-Waite deck, but I like the Morgan Greer deck because it's very vibrant, the colors, and also it's borderless, if you notice. So then, did I hold this up? Then I'm going to be also picking a card from the Sandra Ann Taylor Energy Oracle deck. I'm going to have to do one of my favorite things videos where I talk about these different decks and some of the other things that I've bought from Amazon that, have a spiritual theme, I should say. Okay. All right. And this is a general focus, so it can include any area. And I do have love readings coming up, depending upon when you're watching this. It'll probably be around the May 11th to 15th. So please check your local listings. It's a challenge card. Okay, now I am going to pick another card just because the Five of Cups as an outcome is not, it's not like a card of resolution for me. So I do pick, okay, I'm going to pick this too. Now, one of the first things I want to note here is that it's very unusual for me these days to get reverse cards, and I got two of them in this reading. But what's interesting is I think both of them are pretty positive. I don't know so much about the Nine of Wands. That may be something that I have to look at here. But definitely the Devil card in reverse is positive. And so it's kind of interesting that I did get these reverse cards in the first place. But as I said, this can include any area of your life. Now, as the overall theme, we have here a card, which I call this a very sketchy kind of card. It is associated with swords, and you are a sword. So I'm not calling you sketchy. But the Seven of Swords can be a card of theft. It can be a card of deception. And I did get a card that's kind of similar. And it's not surprising that they're both sevens, actually. Now, in the past position, I have the Star card, which is associated with Aquarius. Aquarius is a fellow air sign. And it's represented by the sword since it's air. Your swords too. So Were you deceived by an Aquarius? Were you taken advantage of by one, a grifter? This can also be about going your own way. And this can be business-wise. You may have parted ways with a particular company. In the past position, this is like having your faith restored. So I'm thinking that for some of you, you did go through a rough patch, which led you to question some things in your life. And due to whatever turn of events, you felt this sense of like, yeah, you know what? I'm not a victim of fate, and the universe has my back. And that's awesome. I feel a sense of hope again in my life. Now, this could also be in terms of a relationship. This could be, I just thought of this. You may, because I didn't even see the Hierophant card. I think of these things sometimes on my own, and then I look and I see that it's reflected in the actual spread. But I was thinking just on my own about marriage. Maybe for some of you, you met a new person that kind of renewed your faith in humanity. And so you feel like you're no longer bound by a situation that felt very oppressive, because the Devil card in reverse can be somebody who is feeling a lot more free and not as oppressed as they had been. And so the same thing can apply too for any kind of career matters, because with the Seven of Swords, you may be trying to, be discreet about something. If you're working on your own and you found your calling, maybe the Star card is you finding your calling. And the thing that kept you doing what you were doing is represented by the Devil card. In the reversed position, it no longer has its hold over you. So I was just reading the Four Agreements this morning, and one of the things the author was saying was about how people sometimes are not doing what they love, and then what happens is they work all week at a job that they dislike, and because of the money. But then when they get paid, they're still not happy, and then they end up getting drunk, or take your pick on intoxicants, and they're doing that in order to tolerate this unhappy situation because they don't feel free. And a lot of times what binds us to that situation is either some kind of material obsession, or it can be the status. The Devil card is connected to Capricorn. So one of the hallmarks of a Capricorn is that desire to better themselves or raise themselves, and the status is one way, and feeling like they are at a higher level than they were, class-wise, or however you want to put it. And that can be a lure that is only good for the image, but not for how the person really feels inside. So that can be you liberating yourself from that. But same with relationships. The higher message is the Nine of Wands in reverse. And I could see this as a positive or as kind of a red flag or a warning, because in the upright position, this card represents someone who has their guard up. But having your guard up, in both positions, whether upright or reversed, we can see that there can be a negative connotation or a positive one. So in the reversed position, if you're letting down your guard, it could be that you have a blind spot, you're believing something that somebody tells you, and that's going to lead you to weaken. For instance, if you were getting away from a situation that might have been very compulsive, sometimes the Devil card can indicate sexual bondage, a feeling of having this connection with somebody on the physical level that supersedes everything else, and it ends up being a very destructive relationship overall. And so you might have either fallen in love with somebody who is really inspirational to you, or, you know, a positive influence, or maybe it's just even a friendship with the Star card, but somebody who helps you to see that you're on the wrong track, and you still weaken and you let down your guard. Somebody gets to you. Now, is that possible for Libra? Absolutely. Absolutely. This person could be also a fire sign. In the reverse position, the fire sign would be problematic. So this is an Aries, which is your opposite sign, and a lot of times you'll see Aries people in that role as your nemesis sometimes. Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And in work-related matters, that something can tempt you, you know, and that could cause you to throw caution to the wind and later regret it. Now, what crosses you is the Four of Cups. And so this is something that is warning you about that feeling of complacency and, you know, like indifference to your life. This may come about if you give into temptation or some manipulation by another party, where you fall prey to kind of like the influence of, in a work situation, I think it would be the lure of money, because Librans like to live large. I mean, you love beautiful things, beautiful clothes, surroundings. You're all about beauty. So anything that can bring in a lot of money for you can be very tempting. And yet, because you're connected to balance, it's very important for you to have harmonious circumstances. And when you don't, you can feel like not yourself. And this can cause you to not feel like you're in a good place. And so you have to guard against being too materialistic and valuing that over your well-being, because the Four of Cups can indicate depression or dissatisfaction with your life. Same thing with your private relationships. Not to allow either the physical side to blind you, or also maybe the person makes a lot of money, or maybe the person is very flattering to you in some way because they know how to get to you. There's no easier way to get to a Libran person but than to flatter them. You would rival a Leo person in that regard, that's for sure. What's coming in, or the advice, is the Hierophant card. I think this is advice, and I think this is saying that you need to look higher, not to look at the material side of life. This is about this. This card can deal with any kind of social structure or tradition in society, and that's why I said it can deal with marriage, but it can also deal with just spirituality, since this is a clergy figure. So it can deal with looking to the spiritual side of things, the philosophical side, instead of always seeing things in terms of just that worldly perspective. And that is, I think that's very important for you, Libra, in this particular scenario, because you may have a hard time making well, you have a hard time making decisions, but in this case, you may feel so tempted for a particular situation. And yet the alternative is that one of the other downsides of this kind of scenario is you see the hand coming from the clouds, and you see the person getting an offer, and they're kind of dulled to that offer, that spiritual blessing, really, because they're so hyper focused on not getting what they want. And sometimes when you don't get what you want, it's the best thing, because it causes you to look higher and not to just the other thing is not to just always seek other people's approval through asking their opinion all the time, what they think about another person, another thing going on in your life. Because you have to live your own life. You can't live through somebody else's opinions of what your life is going to be. And something may be going on where you have this wonderful thing happening and you're too tempted. You know, that's what the Devil card is all about, is temptation. And you may initially be able to kind of counteract that, and then at the last minute you weaken. So it's very important that you hold firm and really go within and see things from a higher perspective. Now, as an outcome, I told you that I picked another card. I picked this because this could be like the, what do they call that when it's the cautionary tale? If you don't do your own inner work, the Five of Cups can be the result, which is a card of mourning the loss of something. And it could be that kind of a situation where you end up losing everything because you held on to the wrong thing. And you held on to a person or a thing, like a career, for the wrong reasons, and you ended up regretting it. This is a card of regret, of mourning the loss of something, but it can just be pure regret. So I did pick another card because I don't want, to just assume that that is something that could happen. I picked another Cups card, and this is the Seven of Cups. And this is a card, sometimes this can indicate confusion of, which choice, indecision. Definitely something that Librans struggle with sometimes. But it's all about discernment, because you do have a lot of options. And you may not feel that way. You may think that you have only one way to turn, and it's not true. That's the tunnel vision that happens when we have kind of like that fear-based thinking, and we begin to narrow our choices, and we don't realize that we have them. The fact that you got 2 cups as the outcome, and even in the challenge position, make sure, there could be a water sign individual that is figuring into this in some way. This would be a Cancer, a Scorpio, or Pisces individual. But just in general, check in with your feelings. As an air sign, you're not somebody who necessarily views the world or feels things that way. You tend to be very analytical, and that can kind of make your life situations rather abstract. And sometimes it may be hard for you to see things or feel things at a visceral level to be able to really utilize your intuition, because that's where you kind of get guidance, is from how you feel about certain situations. A Libra can see all sides of a situation, so that's where all the indecision comes from, because you can see the pros and cons in everything. And so you have to be able to really make good choices, but you do so first and foremost by even believing you have more than one choice, that things are not inevitable. So let me pick a card from the Oracle deck to kind of maybe clarify something or round off the reading. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Look at this one. Magician and the Mirror. I'm glad to get another card because I kept drawing the same cards for some of the other signs. That's number 53. And let's see what it says. Knowing and using your true power. Upright. This card, Upright, represents the culmination of your personal and spiritual power at this time. In the Magician's left hand is the flame of passion and action. In his right hand is a vortex of water and the light of reflection. This highly beneficial card is telling you that you are the magician. And within your grasp are the amazing forces of earth and spirit. The water is the energy of yin, the power of spirit and clarity of thought. The flame is the energy of yang, bringing to direction and creativity. Together they give you the magnificent magic of transformation. The mirror stands beside the magician, reflecting the outer world's response to your choice to use or dismiss the true power that you have. Its silver reflection reveals the future in a mist on the horizon, ready to be magically formed. When you receive the Magician Upright, you are put on notice that an important and powerful time is at hand. You are the alchemist of your life, and just as an alchemist turns base metals into gold, you are now able to transform your difficulties into great blessings. This is true in every area of your life. Claim your power and embrace your intentions in your heart and in your daily life. Direct your destiny, and the mists of the future will clear into brilliant reality. Wow. I love that. I really love that. It sounds like kind of like the Magician card in the Tarot. I think this deck is kind of like that. I think it's kind of like the Tarot in some regards. So anyway, Libra, I hope that gave you additional clarity. And if you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great rest of May. Bye.